Have you ever noticed how two people can go through the same storm, yet come out completely different on the other side? One becomes bitter, anxious, and broken, while the other becomes calmer, wiser, and stronger. The situation was the same. The pain was real for both, yet the outcome was different. Why? Because strength is not built in the body alone, and success is not decided by circumstances alone. It is decided in the mind. The way we think quietly shapes the way we live loudly. I often say this: life will test everyone. No one gets a special exemption card that says no problems allowed. Problems come to the rich and the poor, the young and the old, the confident and the confused. But what truly separates people is not what happens to them. It is how they process what happens to them. Some people allow situations to control their peace, while others learn to control their response. That is the subtle yet powerful difference between an ordinary mind and a mentally strong mind. Mentally strong people are not those who never feel fear, stress, or doubt. They feel it all. They feel pain deeply. They feel disappointment sharply, but they do not allow these emotions to become their identity. They understand one simple truth: thoughts are powerful, but they are not always true. And when you learn to observe your thoughts instead of blindly believing them, your entire life begins to change. In today's fast-paced world, the mind is constantly under pressure. We are thinking about the past, worrying about the future, comparing ourselves with others, and trying to meet expectations that were never ours to begin with. Slowly, silently, this weakens us from within. Yet there are people who remain calm in chaos, steady in uncertainty, and hopeful in difficulty, not because their life is easier, but because their thinking is stronger. Today, let us explore how mentally strong people think differently, and more importantly, how you and I can train our minds to do the same. They begin by understanding something very fundamental. The mind is a tool, not a master. Most people live as if their thoughts are in control, as if every fear, every doubt, every negative idea must be obeyed. Mentally strong people pause and observe. They realize that a thought is simply a thought. It comes, it stays for a while, and it goes. Just like clouds in the sky. The sky does not become dark forever just because a cloud passes by. In the same way, life does not collapse just because a difficult thought appears. This understanding changes everything. When you stop identifying with every thought, you stop reacting impulsively. You create a small gap between what happens and how you respond, and in that gap lies wisdom, clarity, and strength. Mentally strong people live in that gap. They don't rush to react. They don't speak in anger. They don't decide their future in a moment of fear. They allow emotions to settle before they act. Another thing mentally strong people do is they develop a deep relationship with silence. In silence they reflect. In silence they recharge. In silence they hear their own inner voice rather than the noise of the world. While others seek distraction to escape discomfort, mentally strong people seek awareness. They sit with their thoughts, observe their patterns, and slowly train their minds toward clarity. They also understand that life does not always need immediate answers. Some questions need patience, not panic. Some problems need calmness, not control. Mentally strong people are comfortable with uncertainty. They trust that clarity will come with time, effort, and sincere action. This trust keeps them grounded even when outcomes are unclear. This way of thinking does not make life perfect, but it makes life peaceful. It allows one to stay balanced in success and stable in failure. And when the mind becomes balanced, decisions become wiser, relationships become healthier, and life begins to flow with less resistance. But if this way of thinking is so powerful, why don't most people live this way? To understand that, we must first look at the real problem that weakens the human mind. The real problem is not stress, failure, or difficult people. The real problem is unconscious thinking. Most people are not choosing their thoughts, they are being chosen by them. The mind runs on autopilot, replaying old fears, past hurts, and imagined futures again and again. Without awareness, this cycle becomes a prison. People suffer not because life is hard, but because their mind keeps reminding them of everything that could go wrong. One of the biggest traps of weak thinking is personalization. When something goes wrong, people immediately say, "Something is wrong with me." When someone criticizes them, they hear, "I am not good enough." When plans fail, they conclude, "I will never succeed." This kind of thinking quietly destroys confidence and peace. Mentally strong people experience the same events, but they interpret them differently. They separate events from identity. Another problem is the addiction to control. We want guarantees. We want certainty. We want life to follow our plans exactly, and when it doesn't, we feel frustrated, anxious, and helpless. The mind starts fighting reality instead of understanding it. This inner resistance creates more pain than the situation itself. Life becomes heavy not because of what is happening, but because of our refusal to accept what is happening. Comparison is another silent poison. We measure our progress against others, our journey against someone else's highlight reel. This constant comparison steals joy, confidence, and gratitude. It creates a false belief that we are always behind, always lacking, always failing. The mind becomes restless, never satisfied, never at peace. Then there is emotional impulsiveness. We speak when we should pause. We react when we should reflect. We make decisions when emotions are at their peak. Later, we regret our words, our actions, our choices. This happens because the mind has not been trained to slow down. A fast mind is not a strong mind. A calm mind is. All these patterns, the overthinking, personalization, need for control, comparison, impulsive reactions, slowly drain mental strength. They keep people stuck in cycles of stress and self-doubt, and unless this inner problem is addressed, no external success can ever bring lasting peace. The solution does not lie in changing the world outside. It lies in training the world within. Mentally strong people do not wait for life to become easy. They become stronger, and this strength is built through simple, consistent shifts in thinking and daily practice. The first shift is learning to respond, not react. When something triggers you, pause, take a breath, create distance between the event and your emotion. This small pause is powerful. It allows intelligence to replace impulse. Over time, this habit alone can transform relationships, decisions, and self-respect. The second shift is changing the internal dialogue. Mentally strong people speak to themselves with clarity, not cruelty. When they fail, they don't say, "I am useless." They say, "What can I learn from this?" When fear arises, they don't say, "I can't handle this." They say, "I will take one step at a time." Words repeated inside the mind shape belief, and belief shapes behavior. Another important practice is acceptance without resignation. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality without fighting it. When you stop arguing with what is, your energy is freed to work on what can be. Mentally strong people accept the present moment and then act wisely within it. They also build mental strength through discipline, not motivation. Motivation comes and goes, discipline stays. Small habits like waking up on time, keeping promises to oneself, reducing unnecessary distractions, and maintaining routines strengthen the mind quietly. Each act of self-discipline sends a message to the mind: I am capable, I am in control. Gratitude is another powerful solution. A grateful mind cannot be a restless mind. When you consciously acknowledge what is going right, the mind shifts from scarcity to abundance. Problems don't disappear, but they lose their power over you. Finally, mentally strong people learn to let go. They let go of grudges, past mistakes, and unrealistic expectations. They understand that holding on to pain does not protect them, it only burdens them. Letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. Through these practices, the mind becomes calm, focused, and resilient. Life still challenges you, but it no longer controls you. And once this inner strength is built, the next step becomes clear, using it consciously every single day. The call to action begins with awareness, not pressure. You don't need to transform your mind overnight. Mental strength is not built in one powerful moment. It is built in many small, quiet moments of choice. Starting today, begin observing your thoughts instead of obeying them. When a negative thought arises, don't fight it and don't follow it. Simply notice it. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Choose one small practice and commit to it daily. Maybe it is pausing before you respond. Maybe it is journaling your thoughts at the end of the day. Maybe it is 5 minutes of silence each morning before the world demands your attention. These simple actions may seem insignificant, but practiced consistently, they rewire the mind. Make peace with the idea that growth is uncomfortable. Mental strength often feels like sitting with uncertainty, resisting impulsive reactions, and choosing patience when frustration is easier. But every time you choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and responsibility over blame, you strengthen your inner foundation. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Life will always be busy. Problems will always exist. The question is not whether challenges will come, but whether you will meet them with awareness or with anxiety. Decide today that your peace is non-negotiable. Protect it with discipline, reflection, and conscious thinking. Surround yourself with people, content, and environments that nourish your mind. What you consume mentally shapes how you think emotionally. Choose wisdom over noise. Choose depth over distraction. Choose growth over comfort. Most importantly, be patient with yourself. You are unlearning years of unconscious thinking. Progress will be slow at times, but it will be real. And one day you will notice that situations that once shook you no longer do. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger from within. And as this journey continues, it naturally brings us to a quiet yet powerful realization that brings everything together. Now the question is not whether mentally strong thinking works. The real question is whether you are willing to practice it, because understanding brings clarity, but application brings change. Mental strength is built when insight becomes action, and action becomes habit. Start small, but start sincerely. Do not try to control every thought, instead become aware of them. When the mind becomes noisy, pause and breathe. When emotions rise, delay your response. When fear appears, take one honest step forward instead of running away. These small moments of conscious choice are where mental strength is forged. Make silence a daily practice. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection can realign the mind. In silence, you begin to hear yourself clearly, not the expectations of others, not the noise of the world. This clarity helps you respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Train yourself to ask better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if I grow?" The quality of your questions shapes the quality of your thinking. Be disciplined with what you consume, your conversations, your media, your thoughts. Protect your mental space the same way you protect your physical health. A strong mind is built by what you allow in and what you consciously let go. Most importantly, practice patience with yourself. You are not weak because you struggle. You become strong when you continue despite the struggle. Mental strength is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. Choose today to think differently. Choose awareness over impulse, responsibility over blame, calm over chaos. These choices, made daily, will slowly but surely transform the way you live, love, and lead your life. When you're ready, send 6, and I will give you the final closing of the speech, powerful and reflective, tying everything together beautifully. As we come to the end, remember this: mentally strong people are not those who control the world around them, but those who understand the world within them. Life will always be unpredictable. People will disappoint you. Plans will change, challenges will arise, but when the mind is trained, these moments no longer disturb your inner balance. Mental strength is not about becoming hard, it is about becoming wise. It is the ability to stay soft in the heart, yet firm in value. Calm in chaos, clear in confusion. It is knowing when to act, when to wait, when to speak, and when silence is the greatest strength. You will still feel fear, sadness, and uncertainty, and that is human. But you will no longer be ruled by them. You will observe them, learn from them, and let them pass. Just like waves rise and fall, emotions too will come and go. What remains is your awareness, your character, and your choices. A strong mind does not rush. It does not compare. It does not seek validation. It trusts the process, respects timing, and focuses on effort rather than outcome. And slowly, almost quietly, life begins to feel lighter. Decisions become clearer, relationships become healthier, peace becomes familiar. So walk forward with patience. Speak to yourself kindly. Choose growth even when it feels uncomfortable. And remember, you are not trying to become someone else. You are simply becoming a stronger version of yourself. How mentally strong people think differently is not a secret reserved for a few. It is a way of living available to anyone willing to observe, reflect, and practice. Begin today, because when your thinking changes, your life follows.